Do I need to tell you to start? Okay. Call to order the Siloam Springs Utility Commission meeting of 9/25/25. Roll call, Commissioner Hivner.
Here.
Commissioner Peck.
Here.
Commissioner Galicias here. Commissioner Weil. Not here.
Here.
All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, would anyone like to make changes to the minutes?
I looked them over already. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion. First.
Phil Stokes, Electric Director. Just want to update you all on a couple of things tonight. This doesn't need to be voted on, it's just to update you. We have Ozarks Go, which is a co-op that serves a large area around. They do electricity and fiber, and they're wanting to come into Siloam Springs. And they asked that we would provide them a spot to construct a building, they called it the Fiber Hut, to bring their fiber into. It'd be kind of a central location. And so we found a spot over by our Lincoln substation, just on the west side of it. It's a 90-foot by 150-foot piece of ground, and they want to lease it for 15 years with the option to renew another 15 years. Currently, we are paying them a little over $400 a month for a fiber connection to Ozarks Go, the city is. And so we have asked them, in lieu of them charging us that $400 a month, that we would get that 1 gigabyte of connection plus 2 100 gigabyte connections in lieu of the monthly payment for the Fiber Hut. And that'll amount to about $7,000, a little over $7,000 a year that the city would get, wouldn't have to pay for fiber to Ozarks Go. So there won't be any money changing hands. It's just to be a savings of about $7,000 to us from having to pay for the fiber. And they're also wanting to lease some land for a laydown yard, a place to put their equipment as they're doing this project for 2 years. And the North Water Tower has an area that's fenced in that'd be somewhat secure that they could bring their equipment to. And for a 2-year period, they would lease it for $250 a month. And so we sent the contracts to legal. They've approved it, and we're planning to put this on the second board meeting in October. So, any questions on that one?
Yeah.
Are there certain people that already have Ozark Go in Siloam then, or
Okay.
around the area? That's what I thought. No.
They serve a large area outside Siloam,
Right.
but so this would,
Nobody here yet.
no.
Are they the ones that have been working on putting in the lines, or is that another? That's Brightspeed.
Yeah, Brightspeed.
Yeah, because I know that a while back I'd heard some complaints from people about their yards not being, repaired and things like that.
I know that they have been spoken to several times about that. I know they've been warned. I know, if I remember right, Christina, did they not suspend some of them for a little bit?
Hit a water line by Walmart, Small Mart in the bowling alley, and
Yeah.
that was pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare.
This would maybe be a better option.
Yes, we're very excited about them coming in.
They're like the best as far as what we've been told in the real estate world, whoever has them. But so what do we pay them for now? Are you saying that's something electrical, like not fiber? Because you said we pay them $400 a month?
Yes, it's 1 gigabyte of fiber currently the city has, so we have a backup feed. We also have agreement with Cox also, but this is just another source for us to have fiber. In case we lose Cox, we have another fiber.
Choose them over Cox? Or,
That's IT's world, but it's good to have a alternative. So, any more questions on that one? Okay, and then we've been in negotiations with Carroll for several years on a situation that kind of, maybe you're aware of it, maybe new on the board or whatever, but real brief history. 1931, was 31, I think it was, 39?
Map is 39.
39, okay, 1939, the city of Siloam Springs and Carroll signed an agreement to establish our service territory, okay? Well, things went along pretty good, I guess, for years, and then in 1981, they reaffirmed that territory. Well, we got to looking at how they have encroached on our territory. They have roughly 240 of our customers that they have served inside our territory, and we have about 40 of theirs. And the 40 that we serve of theirs, most of them is sprinkled along this boundary line that was established back in 39, okay? And, you know, there's not a chalk on the line on the ground where these boundary lines are. And so sometimes it might run between a house and a barn or a well house or something, and it gets kind of fuzzy. And so we have just 2 of the 40 customers that we serve with theirs that are a little off this boundary line. But anyway, they have taken over subdivisions that we have inside the city, and we've more or less said that's not right. And so we've been in negotiations with them, and the Arkansas Public Service Commission oversees the co-ops and IOUs, the SWIPCOs or whatever as in the state. And so we're not governed by the Public Service Commission, but the co-ops are. But anyway, we went to the Public Service Commission, and we got the boundaries that should be updated and all this, and we looked at it, and it's like it was back in 1939. It was, the boundaries are there, okay? Hasn't been changed, and so we saw that there was a problem. And so we worked with Carroll. We haven't really had much success there, and so we went to the Corporation Commission, and we got it on what's called a docket. So next Friday, we're going to take it before the Public Service Commission, and they'll decide who gets what, unless we can work something out with Carroll. We met with them yesterday, and they're a little more open to discussion on maybe readjusting the lines so we can sort of give and take. I think the last thing we want to do is go to the Public Service Commission because we're not for sure how it might turn out. We might lose, they might lose, we're just not for sure. And so we've looked at the map, the customers and everything, and we're trying to work out with Carroll before we go to the commission next Friday. And so it's kind of, they're going to their board. Hopefully next Tuesday we'll find out what their decision is on our proposal. And if it looks favorable, we will tell the commission that, hey, we think we can make this thing work out of court, out of their need to go to court, and so we can work it out among ourselves. So that's kind of where we're at. Christine, you want to add anything to what I said?
I think you covered it pretty well.
Okay. Y'all have any questions about that?
If there were any, current Carroll Electric customers that would have to switch over to the city electric, how much notice would they be given? Do you know how long that process might take, just so that they could,
Yeah, it would be at least a year. I mean, it's not something we'll do the next, I say a year. It's kind of up and we don't know for sure, but they'll be given notice.
Would there be any type of rate adjustment for them to where they could, keep their current rates if they were lower than the city's rates for?
Currently, our rates are lower than Carroll's. So, and just to, what you gotta be careful is comparing apples and apples when you say rates, because what you got to do is look at your electric bill and divide it by the kilowatt hours that you used, and that's what your cost per kilowatt hour is. And so sometimes a company might have a cheaper rate, but their minimum bill might be a lot higher than ours. And so you put it all in one big formula. What spits out as the bottom line is how many cents per kilowatt hour you're actually paying. And so they might have a cheaper rate but a higher minimum bill, which makes their overall package higher. So just be careful when they start saying rates are cheaper. You got to look at the whole picture in electric world, because there's a lot of things goes into other than just the cost per kilowatt hour. There's the power cost adjustment, the minimum bill, plus there can be a demand charge. There's just all kinds of crazy things that can go into an electric bill.
So if that works out, then 240 customers would be switching to Siloam Electric, but 40 would be, or that's just like a,
No, not necessarily that would happen, but what we would do probably is to change the area that our boundaries would be redrawn.
I wondered if you have to pay then to switch,
Yeah, we
you
don't.
just redraw lines.
I think basically the way it is proposed now is not so much customer swapping as it is just redrawing the lines.
You wouldn't be gaining necessarily those people, but future-wise, the line would be.
Yes. It'd be if any swapping, our proposed swapping would involve a one-to-one swap for its customers. I think the number's 9 right now out there. There's like 9 of customers of theirs and 9 customers of ours that we might swap, but it's all up in the air, just depending on what they
See why
decide.
they wouldn't agree just to redraw lines to, I mean.
Would there be any additional cost as far as equipment or infrastructure-wise for like the swapping?
The way it's proposed, there wouldn't be very little. But that's still up in the air, so it's just, we're still negotiating.
Once you finish negotiating, it'll be clearer.
Yes, and we'll take it to the board with their approval. It's something that we're just working on behind the scenes.
Okay.
That's all I have. You got any more questions?
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Jason, you're next.
Good evening, Jason Davis, Community Services Director. Just want to give you a few updates on what we have going on in the sanitation world. For the ones who didn't see, we won the Arkansas Recycling Coalition Award. Very excited, #1 municipality in the state for recycling, so I was very proud of that. And I have to thank the commission for allowing us to take the balers to the board, because that wouldn't have happened without you guys. So a couple other things we got going on. We have some grants that we won. One of them we're looking at, or not looking at, the one that we won recently was through the recycling partnership for multifamily recycling. So what we're going to do is set out some big bins for recycling in the apartment complexes where otherwise wouldn't have an option or availability to recycle. So I'm very excited about that. We're hoping to have that going hopefully by the first of the year. We got to order the containers and then get them all dressed up and then do some education with the apartment complexes. So we'll be doing that, hoping to get those numbers up higher for the recycling. We're looking at some other options for recycling moving forward. Nothing's set in stone on that yet, but right now our main focus is getting the apartments going, getting the education out there for the community, and doing some door-to-door. We'll be doing some door-to-door, speaking with the apartments to make sure that they understand what's going on. We found that historically handing out mailers or possibly social media doesn't have the same effect as if you actually go into the door and letting them know what we take and how to take it. So we're excited about it. We know there's a lot of work ahead getting this done, but once it's in place, it'll be a good thing, I think, for the community. So we have 5 that we're getting for the city, and those will be at the major locations around town. And then the idea would be later on in years, if this is successful, then we can start taking these type of containers to schools and other larger businesses to help them with their recycling needs as well. So that's about my update. You guys have any questions for me?
How is the glass program going?
The glass program's doing very, very well. It's a slow start, but we've seen a slight uptick every week in the glass, and we have new businesses. We average about 1 to 2, I'd say 1 a week, maybe 1 every other week or so of increase. So it's starting to pick up some steam, and we're moving forward with that. The great thing about glass is historically, it's always been a disposal. It's always been like a break even, if you will. When we get rid of glass, we don't really pay for it, but we don't make any money. And now, after some negotiation with some glass companies, we're actually making money on that now. It's actually pretty good. It's $25 a ton, which is, glass is heavy. It doesn't take a lot to make a ton, right? So we're excited about that. We have not moved to take glass residentially yet. We're still evaluating the needs and assessment before we do that. The last thing I want to do is start taking glass residentially and then something happen where we can't take it anymore. So we're just evaluating the options with that, and when we feel comfortable, then that we would like to roll that out residentially. So,
Do apartments not recycle right now then?
no. The only way they can recycle is to take it to the drop-off site at the sanitation department. So this is just going to be easier. This is going to increase because of the ease of not having to travel. And so with the recycling partnership, the way their grant works is part of that grant money has to be used for education, stickers and door hangers and things like that. So that education piece is going to be funded through this as well. So.
Sure.
Absolutely. So what we did was we told them it had to be in English and Spanish for the door hangers. So we're already on that as well. Yep.
So I know that the city partners with the Fourth Friday events, which have already, I want to say that they're over for the year.
Yes.
But, you know, looking forward, I know that the city is also partnered with, you know, Main Street, and I know that they have a Kids Day.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something that you guys think that you could possibly, you know, team up with and maybe, you know, have a booth like at the farmer's market just specifically for that on a Kids Day to have?
Yeah,
that?
I mean, potentially. You know, we've talked about some options for the farmer's market and maybe doing some education there as well. A lot of that was going to be focused more on parks and educating the people on what kind of flowers, what kind of seeds, what kind of environment that they live at, and try to give them some the right direction. But none of that's been finalized yet. We're still kind of mulling that over, looking at the education piece of it. But we do have some people that have to have so many hours for their master gardening certificates or whatever, and volunteer hours for things like this is what lines up with that. So as far as the education on the recycling side, that would be something that we could look at as well.
Yeah, always be nice to do a little garden for the Diana. I know
Sure.
that's our state butterfly and they're
Yep, yep.
endangered,
I
so.
love it. You guys have any other questions for me?
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats on that.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on winning.
Yeah, you know, I would love to take all the credit for it, but honestly, it was the team that did it. So I've got to thank my sanitation team.
You guys are doing great. I mean, you can see it. You guys are boasting it up, and
Well,
you're
we
doing good.
appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
All right, Josh,
Good evening.
I think this is your first meeting with us.
Yes, sir.
It's
Welcome
very
aboard.
exciting.
Well, yep, I'm the new Public Works Director as of beginning of August. Loving it. There's a lot to do, though. Tonight, I'll just provide a couple updates on what we got going on currently. Water Services, I'm sure you've seen a couple Facebook posts or social media posts. They've been working long hours addressing water line breaks and sewer lift stations. Most notably, the one a week or two ago in the metal yard was an 8-inch line that was shooting 20, 30 feet up in the air. It was crazy. They worked on that one 22 hours straight to get it fixed. So hats off to those guys. They're short-staffed, but they're doing a great job in keeping the city running and water and wastewater flowing. Superintendent Danny Farine has been working on a plan to address some of the issues we're seeing in our collection system, particularly related to high levels of inflow and infiltration through manholes. Soon you may see contractors performing smoke testing in the collection system to help pinpoint some of the problem areas. This round will more than likely focus on Basin 7, which is basically the southwest section of our city, containing about 69,000 linear feet of sewer line. Notifications and all that will go out. You guys brought that up, bilingual as well, Spanish and English. Door hangers, we are going to require 48-hour notice for that, for those notifications. Wastewater treatment plant, moving downstream a little bit. Work continues on the Headworks facility improvements. It feels like we're starting to make some progress in establishing what can be done now to comply with that corrective action plan. These upgrades will improve our ability to manage those I&I flows and reduce SSOs at the treatment plant. SSOs is sanitary sewer overflow. It's when the stuff is going on the ground, and we don't want that. Superintendent Tony Brown serves the EPA Region 6 Pre-Treatment Board and helped execute a wonderful conference in Hot Springs last month. Staff has been putting in long hours there as well, doing what's needed to just keep us compliant and keep us treating wastewater out there, so hats off to them. At the water treatment plant, which is where I come from, so it's kind of my baby, those guys have been doing great, and this transition, any change is hard, obviously. I was there 10 years, so it's kind of like a, what do we do now? But they've done wonderful in just keeping everything going very well. Currently, they're working on some actuator replacements in-house, a lagoon cleaning project in-house, and also trialing new coagulants, which is like our primary chemical there, to just help maximize efficiency. A lot of them are advancing in their state licensing as well, which is great. So hats off to them. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about P-Dub, let me know.
I know that there's a study. Is it still going on, or is it ongoing, or?
The
the
long-range
result?
plan, water long-range plan, it is still going on. We've, I think I got an invoice this week for like 75%. So we're getting very, very close to having that done, so.
You said smoke testing, what is that?
Yeah, so it's, yeah, they basically they'll isolate sections, usually manhole to manhole of the collection system, and literally fill it with smoke. And then the smoke will work its way out, yeah, through the manholes, through, if there's it does a really good job of showing us where people have their overflow caps missing. Usually get a lot of smoke through there, which is where a lot of I&I can get in the system. But if there's any cracks in pipes, or if any of the joints are coming apart or anything like that, the smoke will work its way even through the ground, and you'll start seeing smoke come up through the ground and help us know where some problem areas are.
I think the last one was done was it last summer that was done?
Last summer or late 23, but yeah.
Like the manholes that when there's a whole lot of rain and they overflow in the street and you see all the debris, is that?
That's a no-no.
What fixes that?
This,
I'm a walker.
yeah, this is a no-no. I mean, this is
Okay.
what will fix it. That is a no-no. This is what will fix it. So we'll have to do the smoke testing to find out where some of those problem areas are, which we're pretty certain that a lot of that is coming
Down
from
by Cobb, you
Basin
know, from the
7,
Cobb
Basin
office
8,
downtown on that
in
side
that
street where
area.
the creek
Yeah,
is there. And then,
yeah. We just got to find it. We got to find out where those issues are, which the smoke testing project will help that, and then start getting crews and contractors and even our own crews to go in and start fixing that stuff. So
That's off to them. That's a
Yeah,
job that I would
yeah,
not want.
for sure. Any other questions?
Oh, no. Oh, no. So,
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
No, so I did see that some people had received some letters about lead pipes.
Oh, yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to ask a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, so if you remember what happened in Flint, Michigan
Yes.
years ago,
Yeah,
that, and rightfully so, that caused it to get on the radar of the EPA. And so they revised the lead and copper rule at that time. Siloam Springs, for as long as I can remember, has been on revised reduced sampling, reduced monitoring, because we always score in the 95th or higher, usually 98th percentile. We're good. But everybody, no matter how large your system, no matter how well you've done in your testing previously, everybody's having to look at these lead and copper service lines and start addressing those. So basically, if your house was built before like the late 80s, 80, 88, 89, 89 is when the rule changed. So technically everything after 89 should be lead-free, but there's always that weird transition period. But if your house was built before that, you get a letter. Even if you've had your plumbing redone since then or anything like that, you're gonna get a letter. And then we'll be required to lead the charge in identifying those service lines, and how it's getting into the house, and then providing that report to the state, EPA, and then go from there.
Do you know just an average or an estimate of how many of our residents might have like received those letters? I mean, I would figure that it would be a fair.
It's about
share.
1,400, give or take 100. I'm pretty sure it's 1,427 or 37, but
The city goes in and tests their water to see if there's lead in it?
no, we'll
or-
actually have to dig up
Oh.
and identify how it was connected, how the tap was connected to our line. Because even though the line that we put in as a city may be PVC or lead-free or whatever, the plumbers at the time may have used, a
So
lead.
of those 1,400, you have to go dig all of those and check?
We have to verify the material, basically, yep.
You're sending them a letter saying, we may be
That
digging.
you may have, well, the letter is basically just telling them, hey, you may have lead and copper lines because of when your house was built or the materials that were reported used at the time or whatever else. But I think we've got till November of 2037 to do all of those. But still, 10 years, that's, 260 something a day, or 260 something a year. It's pretty much every day we're having to find one. So more than likely, we'll have to get some contractors involved to help us with that. But yeah, right now it's just notification that this may be a thing, and as the years go on, we'll get pretty aggressive on identifying that.
Is there any type of testing that you would suggest for the residents, or anything that they could do just to see like, hey, test the tap water that's coming out of their tap to see if there is, a ratio that is higher than should be?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I know that there's always like, an exposure range that's within, safe
Yeah,
levels.
yeah.
But, is there any type of testing or anything like that you would?
There is,
suggest?
but the city doesn't offer it. We're not set up to do it. We don't even do our own. When we have to do that reduced monitoring, we collect these samples and send them to the state, and the state will have to do them. They could contact the state. More than likely, the state may help, or the state would have a list of certified labs that they could send their samples to. I do know that there are a few labs in the corridor, and then there's Accurate Labs in Tulsa and one in Stillwater that can do that type of testing. It's not cheap, but it may be worth it to make sure you're safe and your family's safe.
Would that be something that someone could potentially apply? Type of assistance in testing at all?
I don't know that individuals would be able to. I know there are some talks about helping cities, because obviously this is a huge undertaking that we're gonna have to do. But I'm not sure that any of that's been established yet as far as helping residents figure that out, or even helping municipalities and, governmental or private, public or private sectors figure that out, so. Yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Yeah, congrats. All right, I have a couple of things. So, great study people are not here, so we would need to do a special meeting next week. Friday if need be. The
Say no to
2nd.
Friday.
Yeah. That's what I said. Wasn't ready, right?
When we talked earlier this week, they were not ready to present, and we asked them to go back and sharpen their pencils on a couple of, specifically for sanitation, because their numbers were, we didn't feel that their numbers were correct.
She told me that she should have mine done tomorrow.
His is the last one that we're waiting for, so it should be done tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I just didn't know. I was like, if they, if that's rushing them, you know what I mean? I just wanted to know, like,
No, it
yeah.
was literally just cleaning up a few numbers, okay? And, she had most of it done when I was talking with her, but she's just really tightening it up, so we're on the same page. So,
Who is it that's gonna be presenting?
It's 1898 and Company, Burns and McDonald.
They're an independent contractor that we've had come in and, okay.
Correct.
So you say Thursday is better for me than Friday, but
send an email and let Alyssa know. And then one more. So November, our meeting is on Thanksgiving. Week before? Which is the 20th.
So Herbie, would you go ahead and call a special called meeting
Okay.
for next Thursday?
Yeah, okay, that's what I was like. I was like, wait, maybe I should have. Okay, so I would like to call a special meeting for next Thursday at 5:30.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to have a special meeting for next Thursday at 5:30 PM to address the rate study.
All right, is that so, Commissioner Hebner?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so that's all I have, so I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I think they have to vote on the November.
Changing the date.
Oh, we have to
in
vote on
November.
changing the date too?
Oh, for November?
Okay.
Okay, well,
For that too?
yes.
To change our, is that right? You do?
Change the meeting date.
To change our meeting date in November to the 20th.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you again.
All right, now I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yes.
right, meeting adjourned.
Second.
Please.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.